Have you ever wondered what makes someone stand on the edge of a cliff, look down hundreds of feet, and then just step off? On purpose? Today, we're diving into the pretty intense world of base jumping to try and understand the psychology behind one of the most dangerous sports on Earth. So, what does it take to make that leap? Let's get into it. To really get the mindset, you first have to understand the stakes. And honestly, there's no better way to do that than to just drop you right into a jump. From the absolute thrill to the sheer terror, all in just a few heart-stopping seconds. This quote from a seasoned urban base jumper named Dan Witchell, it really hits you, right? It just shows that even for the most experienced jumpers, that moment right on the edge is full of this deep, terrifying self-awareness. It's not some mindless thrill-seeking. It's a choice they have to make consciously every single time. Okay, so let's set the scene. Meet Matthew G. This guy is no rookie. We're talking 180 base jumps before this one, plus over 700 skydives. He knows the drill, he knows the risks. For him, this jump should be totally routine.
He just launches himself into the air. And for those first few moments, the free fall is beautiful. It's graceful. He even does a little maneuver to push himself away from the cliff face. You know, everything is going exactly to plan.
And right here, this is the moment everything changes. He pulls the cord for the parachute, the one thing designed to save his life. But something goes horribly wrong. Maybe it was an awkward body position, maybe a freak gust of wind, but the chute just twists on itself. And when it finally opens, it's facing the wrong way. His controlled fall just turned into total chaos. Instead of slowing down, he's now spinning wildly at 40 miles per hour. That cliff he worked so hard to get away from is now rushing right towards him. He hits it full force, totally powerless, as that malfunctioning parachute just drags his body down the rock face. As he's falling, he looks down and sees the worst possible thing you could ever imagine landing on: sharp metal spikes for hanging wetsuits. But somehow, miraculously, he crashes onto the sand right next to them. He's injured, yeah, but he's alive. Matthew G. is one of the very lucky few to walk away from a failed jump. Matthew's story is wow. It's just a crazy reminder of how razor-thin that margin for error really is. So let's take a closer look at what makes this sport so fundamentally different and, well, so incredibly lethal. The name itself tells you everything you need to know. BASE is just an acronym for the four main types of things people jump from. And because these are all fixed objects, not a moving plane, it introduces a whole new set of challenges. And this right here, this is the whole ballgame. Just look at the difference. A skydiver has thousands of feet and minutes to deal with a problem. A base jumper, a few hundred feet and maybe 10 seconds. There is just no time to cut away a bad chute and deploy a reserve. There is no second chance. It's one and done. And that no second chance has a number. A really grim one. The number of documented fatalities on the community's own fatality list is 537. And you've got to remember, this is a pretty small niche sport. That number is huge. Here's Dan Witchell again, and listen to this. He says it's not a question of if something goes wrong, but when. There's this fatalistic acceptance in the community that the risk, well, it's not something you can ever truly beat. You just manage it for as long as your skill and your luck hold out. So this brings us to the big question, right? The whole reason for this explainer. We've seen the what, the incredible, almost unbelievable danger. Now let's explore the why. What is actually going on inside the mind of a jumper? I mean, seriously, some sources put the death rate as high as 1 in 6. 1 in 6. What on earth could possibly be worth that kind of risk? Is it just an adrenaline rush, or is there something much, much deeper going on here? This quote, this gets right to the heart of it for so many of them. It's like a rebellion against a mundane, routine life. It's this profound idea that life is something to be experienced, not just endured. It's their way of feeling truly alive in a world that so often tells us to play it safe. So yeah, it's way more complex than just being an adrenaline junkie. I mean, check this out. Jumpers talk about it as the closest we can get to real, unassisted flight. For the urban jumpers, the thrill is in the entire mission, the planning, sneaking into a secure building, and then the escape. And this part I find fascinating. It's an act that requires such intense focus, a flow state, that it makes all of life's other problems seem trivial in comparison. But that incredible feeling of being alive, it always comes with a shadow. The community is small, and it seems like everyone knows someone who has paid the ultimate price for doing what they love. And this just shows you nobody is immune. No amount of skill or experience can make you safe. Carl Bonisch, the guy who basically invented the sport and gave it its name, he died jumping. Dean Potter and Alexander Polly were global icons, the absolute best of the best, and they were killed too. As the sport gets more popular, that list of names just keeps getting longer. So, how do you even process that? How would you reconcile it? Well, this is jumper Dan Witchell again, and his words are just so powerful. He's thinking about how he would want people to remember him if he were to die jumping. It's not about being sad, but about recognizing that he died doing the one thing that made him feel the most alive. It's a perspective that's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but it's totally central to this mindset. And that's where we're left with this impossible question. When you watch them fly, when you hear them talk about what it means to them, you see this incredible beauty and passion. But then you look at the numbers, you see the names, and you just can't ignore the tragedy. So which is it? Is it a life push to its absolute limit? Or is it a risk that can really only end one way?